God bless you. You can be seated. I'm going to start out with a brief missions report, just a little update. So this is Brother Omid with his family, his wife, Sister Sanez, and their daughter, Andia. He's the pastor in Kayseri, Turkey, and he's the one we've had several prayer requests about in the past, just regarding his immigration situation. If you haven't heard, I'll just give you a brief understanding of it. Brother Omid was in Iran, was arrested, and he was tried and convicted of crimes against national security in their country. Basically, he was a Christian and converted from Islam. So he was sentenced to 5 years. Before they arrested him, he fled the country. And then probably a year later, his wife joined him in Turkey. He's been in Turkey now for 7 years. And they've gone through this refugee process. And it's now in the hands of the Turkish government. It used to be in the hands of the UN. He was approved by the UN and was set to come to the United States until our immigration program completely changed with the new administration that came in. And so he's been kind of stuck there ever since. And as a result, the Turkish government took over immigration cases. Thank you. And they've been basically just denying the refugee cases. And so there are, of course, cases that people aren't really under persecution. They're just fleeing for economic reasons. But Omid genuinely was persecuted, and if he were to return to Iran, it would be a long-term prison sentence and torture, very, very difficult circumstances for him if he were to be brought back there. So they canceled his immigration process, canceled his all of his documents, his identification, insurance, everything. So his wife has a heart condition and different things. It was miraculous that their daughter was born and she was perfectly fine, but no insurance for them. So they're facing a lot of difficulties. Also, always before them are the police going to come just pick me up and put me on an airplane to go back to Iran? By God's grace, Brother Nehemiah's church in Canada has been willing to help and sponsor him to come to Canada. They have a little bit less stringent immigration policies there, so they're going to go through that process. In the meantime, he's gotten an attorney in Turkey as well that's helping them to try to go to the court and get his identification and insurance restored. But it's a huge time of stress. He can't leave that city, so that's also a difficulty on my end because he's my translator. So if I were to go to Turkey, I basically would just be there with him in that city for now. So, and I may do that this fall, seeking the will of the Lord. If you want to go to the next one. This is Brother Petros. He is Iranian, but he lives in Hamburg, Germany now. He was just recently, I believe it was through the month of July, the whole month, he was in Turkey, visiting several cities and churches there. Mostly he was just visiting people one-on-one because they still did not have the ability to open up their services again. So he was just meeting people at coffee shops and restaurants and at people's homes, and it went very well. But I think he's still on, because he had to fly back to Germany. He's still on quarantine now. Should be coming out in a couple days, being able to come out of quarantine in Germany. From what it sounds like in Turkey, they have all kinds of rules in place about wear a mask, do this, but nobody follows them, and they're not really forcing them. It's just, I think it's mostly just so they can tell the international community, oh yeah, we have mandatory masks. Oh yeah, we on our flights everybody has to wear a mask, but the reality is no one's enforcing it. But Germany is more strict, and so he's had to stay in quarantine for quite a while, and that's been pretty difficult on him. Go to the next one. This is Brother Megali there holding the microphone. He's pastor in Cairo, Egypt, and they didn't have services, I think, from middle of March through just recently. Last week they had their first service last Thursday, so they're really excited to have that. You can go to the next screen. I think that shows some of the people there. Keep them in prayer. We're continuing to work on getting the Supernatural series printed. It's all translated now, getting edited. It'll all be printed there.
ای خالق این جهان، تو این نور بیکران، قدرت تو جاودان. ای ایزد مهربان، از اسارت شیطان.